There we go. We made it. Yay.
Yay. How you doing, Deb?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Came back
Hopefully we won't have too much noise. We have like major construction going on in our house, and I told the crew they can't work during this time, so hopefully they'll be quiet.
Okay. Well, I don't hear anything except for your lovely voice, so
good. Let's
get into it. So today we're shifting gears where we're going to talk a little bit about brand authenticity, or the lack thereof, right? In this AI-driven world.
How timely is that? That is a very timely topic right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's kind of funny. The more things change, the more they stay the same, right? I mean, marketers, they've always believed in brand. Then they got pulled into demand generation for 15, 20 years. Like, no, you got to drive revenue. And now, as it's coming full circle, well, what about brand? Got to get back to brand. But AI is kind of putting a bit of a monkey wrench in it, isn't it?
It really is. And even as AI has really grown over the last 2 years, brand and specifically authenticity has become very important to other businesses and also especially to consumers. So what we see today from brand is a brand voice that is working very, very hard to be authentic so they can really, understand their customers and show their customers they understand them. And I don't think they're doing a good job. And it's number one, it's not because of AI. It's because things are not aligned inside of companies. And AI is throwing a monkey wrench into that, which could make the situation of brand authenticity a real crisis for many organizations.
Look, it's hard to dispute the noble concept of authenticity, right? We all desire that. We want to meet with real people, real companies. But at the same time, AI is getting better all the time at helping create and streamline things that are almost ubiquitous and now homogenous. So,
and they're copying real people. There have been a number of instances where influencers, avatar type influencers, people think they're real, promoting products for a brand, and it's the brand doing it, not an influencer doing it. So we're already seeing that.
Yeah. So I think first let's talk about. I think people see it changing, but what has actually changed, right? I mean, we've talked. You and I've had several sessions now on answer engine search. Generally, right, the buyers meeting companies through AI before they get to any of your own channels. That's really it. And then, no matter how hard you worked on your brand, no matter how good it is, the reality is AI is kind of shrinking this down to a couple of key sentences, right? And so you don't even get a chance to get your story out.
Well, I think AI does a couple of things for brand. It gets your story out faster, so you better have the right damn story. For example, we have worked with companies who are in the tech space who want to talk about how great their customers are, yet cannot come up with a case study because how they say the technology does not work. And that brand is trying to be authentic with a voice that is completely not true. And that does a couple of things. Number one, I think of all the departments, it puts so much pressure on marketing. Marketers have to create authenticity at scale for an organization. They are that first touch out to the customer, from initial communications to branding communications, to everything. And so if the story isn't true, it creates a lot of stress, on the marketing team. So AI can just make that much faster. On the other hand, AI can make that much better. And we've said this for years, Jeff. You were at Eloqua, like 2003, 2004. And, and for years, marketers have been sitting on this gold mine of customer data, prospect data, and they have not really effectively used that data. AI now gives us that chance to better understand the customer, and then that reflects in a more authentic voice and way to market.
That's the positive side of it, but the negative side of it.
I'm trying to be somewhat positive. I can't be negative really all the time.
I want to be the cynical one today. Okay. I'm just thinking about what happens what is happening is AI is doing the interpreting on behalf of the company. So even if the marketer is being authentic, they're trying to do the right things. If they're not in all the places that AI is, and AI is racing out ahead, it's interpreting the brand in its own way and summarizing it in just a couple of sentences. There's a disconnect then, right, between your brand promise and then what AI is delivering against that brand.
Oh yeah.
And the customer, for lack of not having any other medium, comes away with a different interpretation, right?
That's right.
Of what your brand is.
That's right. So AI can scale a brand voice, but AI cannot be your brand truth. And that's why we keep saying human judgment is so critical in the age of AI. And we've talked about this before. You know, what is the role of marketing? It's not going to be execution. It's going to be the strategic judgment, critical thinking aspect. And that's going to be doubly true for the brand, and being able to promote the brand and message the brand in a way that is true and authentic and that resonates with the audience. So AI can be a help or a hurt there.
So as it relates to judgment and brand, or just anything the marketer's doing, like, how do you get them to slow down long enough to apply the judgment? Because to me, like, they're viewing AI, it's like, thank God, I can finally catch up. But then, of course, the company's heaping more stuff on them. Oh, you have AI now, so just do more content, get out more campaigns. So they're going even faster because AI allows them to go faster. But now, if everybody,
I think that's the case for most people. That is most people. That's the way they're using AI. Right. So when we talk about brand authenticity, we could be entering a crisis because AI is doing it faster. But if it's not the right message, if it's not authentic,
it's not differentiated. Because look, if you can go
just make it worse faster.
Yeah, if you can go faster, and I can go faster, and our three competitors can go faster, we're all moving fast. Speed then becomes equalized and also commoditized because AI allows us all to go fast. But fast is not better. Fast is not differentiated, and fast doesn't allow us to connect the brand back.
Exactly. And as we're moving faster, our customers are moving faster. So as their taste and their preferences and maybe what they value changes, you have an opportunity for a real disconnect because AI is running down one path unless you're feeding it that customer data so that it can make changes as the customers change, which we know marketers have never been good at that.
Yep. Well, you just said a couple of minutes ago, though, that AI is getting so good it's copying influencers and other things. So, Deb, what happens if a marketer is even doing the right thing and judgment is applied on the marketer side? Can judgment be applied on the reader's side, right? How do you know when you're seeing something that's real or seeing something that was faked by AI, or at least maybe not fake, but delivered by AI?
Well, you know, that is the thing. And one of the words that comes to mind when I think about all this is congruence. And that is you say what you're going to do and you do it. So I think more and more consumers and prospects and customers and buyers, they will be looking at how is that true? So if you tell them something, you show them something, you have an avatar, you know, whatever your messaging is and however it comes about, they're going to say, where's the proof? And I think that is the age that we're entering into because anybody can be spoofed with anything these days.
Where's the beef, right?
Where's the beef? Exactly. It's going to be like, where's the beef commercials? That's it, exactly. And so an informed buyer will be asking those kinds of questions. Where's the proof? What is true? Show me, more than ever before.
So so then let's talk about what the AI can fake and what they can't fake, right? At least today anyway, right? So AI can fake your tone. It can fake structure. It can can't get my words out.
It can fake your voice. It can fake your people. Yeah. It can fake
even the brand. It can fake at a high level of the brand, right? A confident brand. We can kind of emulate that. But the lived experiences, the specific facts.
Yes.
People, names, dates, places, times. A very specific point of view and an accountability that AI would have no way of possibly knowing. Right. I think that's when it starts to become authentic.
again, this has to do with judgment, and that's why every time we talk about AI, we always come back to human centered, right? The more AI takes over, the more the human aspect coming into the business will be critical. Again, you have an AI and you've got it running in a certain thing and it's going super, super fast, right? If you're not constantly feeding it updates and customer behavior, prospect behavior, those things that would make a difference into what is being presented as far as your message and your brand, then it's just going to be a big miss. It's going to be a huge miss. So I think, again, the more AI takes over, the more the human factor continues to grow for customers and our customers to be successful.
So let's get more specific, because we know, like, as marketers, we spend a ton of time talking about features and product, and we're running campaigns and setting up demos and doing white papers and thought leadership. And yes, those things are important, but those are the easiest things for AI to fake.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I think what we're saying here is, let's describe our specific onboarding experience. Let's get into a day in the life of a customer. Like, let's go out on the road. Let's talk about things, Bob and Sally and Joe and Mary, and then what we were doing at 1 o'clock on Tuesday,
It always comes back to the power of knowing your customer. And again, this has been my beef with marketing organizations for years. We can go in and we can ask them, when's the last time you actually talked to a customer, right? And I don't mean, hello, swipe your badge at a fucking trade show, right?
Get your ass out there on a sales call and go talk.
Exactly. And so again, it just tells us this lived experience. And I think lived experience is a really good term for it, right? That is the essential aspect, I think, of authenticity, is the lived experience. You talk about your values and your words and your messages, and is the lived experience for the customers and also internal to the company the same? Because again, when there's a disconnect, there's what I call fake authenticity. It's being manufactured because they think that's what the market wants. And it doesn't mean that I go on camera and cry and show that I'm honest. That's not it. It really has more to do with truth and doing what you say you're going to do, right? Having that.
And that's what reinforces the brand, right? Because, remember the loop that we've had out now for, I don't know, like 12 years or so.
Forever.
We talk so much about the importance of having the balance and moving from just, funnel acquisition to living and onboarding and value realization. So as it's related to brand, at most, marketing can control brand messaging when people are at that customer acquisition part. They're coming through, awareness, consideration, but they haven't lived the brand truly yet because they haven't experienced your product.
That's right.
The way that the brand values get reinforced is after the customer starts to use the product, service, and then can validate and back up, right? That the brand is actually fulfilling what the marketer told them that.
But again, this is one of the comments I made earlier, is that I feel, how many times we walk into a marketing organization and the brand promise that they're talking about is not true. It just isn't. And
neither is their ICD, neither is a lot of things that they're doing.
And it's really, it's all the customer facing parts of the organization that have to die on that hill, right? And their messaging that they know isn't true. The salespeople are saying things that they know that isn't true. The customer success team is saying things that they aren't true, and that's a real issue. And I think that's a bigger issue for corporate America than just how marketing is seeing this and how customers see this. And if you think about those companies that just they've got the brand and their customers just love them. Just absolutely love them because they do what they say they're going to do. The lived experience that their customers have with every interaction with their products is true, and it's the same every single time, right? To me, that is being authentic, is when your brand promise matches the lived experience of your customers.
So if that happens, then is authenticity just a nicer word for good positioning, or is it something more than that?
It's not good. It's not good positioning. And again, I think that we need to give a little bit broader stretch to the word authenticity, being real, being honest. It's also being truthful. And it very much has to do with do what you say you're going to do. So I think adding congruence to that is, and again, that's the biggest thing. And the lived experience, that is the biggest thing to have brand authenticity these days. And AI is a forcing function for that. AI is a forcing function for many things that we're seeing in corporate America right now. But for marketers, the forcing function is, if you put a lot of stuff out there and that brand promise is not true, you're going to be caught sooner rather than later because you're just inundating the market with it that much faster. And then AI can't keep up with that as your customers change. So you're in a real pickle there. However, let's say that the brand promise is true for an organization, and we always love to work with organizations like that because the mission, the values, the brand promise, they all line up beautifully. I mean, I'm thinking about one company in particular. The brand promise is it is the lived experience for every single one of their customers, and as a result, the entire marketing team, they are passionate. They feel like they're there with a purpose, and they feel like they're part of something larger because they can create that lived experience, for those organizations.
You truly feel the brand because the brand is experiential.
Exactly. And I will tell you, the brand I'm thinking about is Axon, and, it's the police stuff. Yeah. And we worked with them a few years ago, and every marketer that I spoke to was just like, we love this company. We love the brand promise. It is all about the lived experience. And that was the whole thing. So they had real brand authenticity. So it's that congruence between what you say and the lived experience for your customers and also for your employees as well. And I think that disconnect, and we see that a lot in tech, we just do. Every now and then. That makes it that much more difficult to work for a company when those things don't line up. So
I think that says about anything. Yeah.
Here's what I would say, Jeff. I would say that one of the most practical things that marketers can do is, I know everybody's on a hamster wheel right now, trying to get stuff out faster, cheaper, all that good stuff. But I think what you have to do is back up and say, how can we use AI to better understand the customer? That is the money. Coming back to understanding the customer is always the money shot every single time. We've been saying this since we started the company, right? I mean, understanding your customer, whatever technology you got, understanding your customer and understanding what they want and giving them the lived experience that they want, that is always where it is. And so for all of you marketers out there, instead of using AI for better, faster, cheaper, use it to better understand your customer. You're drowning in digital data, drowning in it, that AI could be giving you these extraordinarily keen insights and keep the pulse on the market of when things begin to change. So, I mean, that's what I would be doing with AI. That's going to be the number one thing to help your brand be authentic and stay authentic, is understand your customers and use AI for that.
So, and I think then it's not so much a matter of trying to control the machine and lock it down, right? Because that part is, started.
I think that the illusion that managers and executives had that they have control of their company is an illusion right now. And I think with AI, it's getting worse. Things are no longer top down. They're now going to be bottom up. A whole new world. I know that's an off market.
No, but I mean, I think what you're saying though is it's not, AI is just yet another vehicle. It still goes back to the marketer and controlling what they put in it and what they make available versus the output, right? So AI is going to do what it's going to do. But I think if you're doing the right things, you're truly trying to develop that customer brand intimacy. That's where the shared lived values come from. And that more than anything else is what's going to drive a healthy company, so spend time.
we need to do some kind of survey, Jeff. How cool would it be a survey of our customers to say, how many people are using AI to better understand their customers, and how are they using it, and what kind of impact is it making on their marketing right now? Because again, it's always been the holy grail, whether we're talking about customer journey, whether we're talking about, the life cycle loop, whatever it is that we're talking about. So that might be an interesting.
No, we could do it, and I have a feeling though the survey would reinforce what you and I are supposing.
I think it would. I think it would. Yeah. Everything's better, faster right now versus customer.
But yeah, so good brand is true brand, right? It's when you're not just coming up with the tenets and the pillars, but you live them, and that you
So.
operate.
Yeah, and again, I'll die on the hill for American Express, for me being one of the best brands ever. My daughter was in Cairo, Egypt. She ran out of money. The whole country lost internet. I thought she was making stuff up to get more money. It was true. They lost all internet. She couldn't get her traveler's checks cashed. I called American Express. They called me back in an hour and said, go to this bank, talk to this woman. She's ready to take your daughter's cashier's checks. I will die on the hill for American Express as a brand.
Well, there you go. And you didn't need AI for that at all.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
All right. Until next time. Good stuff today, Deb.
Great conversation. And, I think that the world of marketing is very challenging right now. And I think as challenging as it is, we also have these incredible opportunities for growth and change. And I'm really looking forward to being a part of it and seeing it.
Let's get after it.
All right. Talk to you later, Jeff.
Bye-bye.
Bye.